but just a dynamic athlete.
He is an athletic freak with high upside.
With the 14th pick, the New England Patriots select.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Patriots.com studio. I'm here with Evan Lazar, Mike Dussault, and Evan, it's the offseason, which means mock draft time. So we're getting you guys primed for the draft. We're going to be heading out to the Combine next week, so we've got a lot lined up in terms of content. This is going to kick it off, though. Evan and I getting things started with our own mock draft. So we're going to bring you the top 2 days of picks, Evan, first. That's the first thing we're going to concentrate. You guys want to see the rest of the picks, head over to Patriots.com. You can see exactly who we have. But let's bring it up right now. Take a look at our first day picks, Evan. They've got 11 picks. It's a lot of ammunition to have some fun.
Feels like too many picks for their roster, but we can get into that a little bit later.
Now, first, we got the names. You guys can see exactly who we have. But I think the biggest thing to me, Evan, that's sticking out is that we have wide receiver, offensive tackle, cornerback. I think that these positions are ones that we all agree that they need. Tell me a little bit about the guys that you've got.
Well, and I also think we wanted to have a little bit of a differential between the two of ours, to have this dueling mock drafting. So we have some different names, which I think is fun as well. So I looked in the first round, and I think over the last couple of years, when you look at Bill Belichick and the Patriots draft history, the biggest need on the depth chart right now, if the season were to start tomorrow, where's the biggest hole on the depth chart? I feel like that's offensive tackle. The biggest question that you have, and Peter Skoronski from Northwestern is as polished of a tackle prospect as you'll find. Great leverage, great hand technique, footwork, a polished left tackle prospect. With that being said, the one knock, and we're going to the Combine next week, we're going to find out, my biggest thing that I want to find out in this fact-finding mission, how long are those arms? And it's so antiquated. It's so terrible that we still talk about this. But the bottom line is a lot of people in the league view Peter Skoronski as a guard, not a tackle, because of his lack of length. And if he comes in at the Combine and his arms are 32 1/8 instead of 33 1/8, then a lot of people are going to look at him as a guard. But I also think that might make him available at the 14th overall pick. So maybe it works in the Patriots' favor if he's not that prototypical tackle build, that he's actually available at the time that they come up.
So I know that we're looking at you, and you double dipped him. I mean, you went offensive tackle again. Yes. Another guy, an Alabama name, Bill O'Brien's certainly familiar with Tyler Steen.
Yeah.
I mean, it lines up, and of course, we can't forget another Alabama guy right down there.
Yes.
Now, I connect these, Evan, and I know we're talking two different positions, but I think the thought is similarly here, that the Patriots need weapons.
Yeah.
And maybe Cameron Latu, really good tight end class. Maybe they get somebody sooner, but an outstanding player that they are aware of, and maybe could get some value on day two.
So both of these guys were also Senior Bowl guys, and then Dean went to the Shrine Bowl when was on the Patriots team as one of the better players out there in Las Vegas. Julius Brent's also a Senior Bowl guy. So that was a big part of this too, was we know they like those college showcases. We know that their history with the Senior Bowl and Shrine Bowl is that they take a lot of guys there. Steen was Alabama's left tackle last year. I think he's going to be a tackle in the NFL. Cameron Latu, not the most explosive or dynamic athlete in this tight end class, but I look at this tight end class, there's so many good tight ends coming out this year that I feel like you have to take one of these guys. You have to take a flyer on somebody at some point in the draft. The one guy I really want to mention though here is Josh Downs from UNC, wide receiver who I really think projects as a Patriot slot receiver, a prototypical Julian Edelman, Wes Welker type. Love his change of direction ability at the top of the route. He's a really good ball carrier as well. I think he's one of those guys that you draft in the second round and could probably catch 100 passes for the Patriots in a couple of years over the life of his rookie contract. And you have Addison in the first round. We're going to get to him in a second. I think we're both on the same page that with one of these first two picks, they got to get a weapon for Mac Jones. And I took Downs here because I got the tackle early, but Addison I think is a great option too.
Yeah, I know Addison was on your list of guys. I'm going to run through, we'll get into the first picks in a second here, but I just want to run through some of these guys. I mean, Trey Palmer, again, like we're thinking same thing. I mean, you're looking at these day two
another Senior Bowl
wideouts,
guy.
somebody who can go fast. This is a speed guy. Garrett Williams coming off an ACL injury, but another prototypical kind of corner, long, man coverage. We know that's what the Patriots like. Brandon Joseph, now this is kind of, we both have a safety. I think we're looking a little bit towards maybe Devin McCourty. Is Devin McCourty going to retire? Can we get a free safety type? That's kind of what Brandon Joseph is. Really like watching him. Jalen Duncan, you know, it kills me to wait this long for a tackle. And good chance Jalen Duncan might be gone by this point. Maybe a little bit optimistic here in my first mock draft, but still a left tackle, athletic, something that they need. And lastly, Keely Ringo. And I know you like him. He has some issues, but he's just a beast. Physical guy, SEC tested. A lot to like about him. I know you have some thoughts about him in terms of change of direction and sticking with guys, and is he going to be able to do that?
The biggest thing with him, he's going to test really well in the 40. He's going to run a great 40 time. He's one of those freaks list type athletes, rocked up, really big corner who's got great straight line speed. When you watch him on film, when guys break on him, right, when they stop their route down, horizontal cuts, things like that, he has a little bit of difficulty transitioning, and I think there's some rigidness to his game. But if you're just looking for somebody that's got good size and straight line speed to cover a vertical receiver, Kelee Ringo's as good in the draft as you're going to find.
All right, before we wrap it up here, let's go down and let's really drill in here on Skoronski and Addison, who are our first-round picks. Look, that's what everybody cares about. Who are the first guy the Patriots going to take? 14th overall, highest pick they've had since they took Gerard Mayo back in 2008. You've said a little bit about Skoronski. I'm going to give my bit about Addison, just an explosive player. And I know, again, another guy that you had ranked in, your rankings of fits for the Patriots. I have to admit it. I'm a little bit wide-eyed. This is what the Patriots, we don't have an explosive interior of the field player. He moves around a lot, no question, physical. He doesn't look that big. He's going to probably have some struggles going up to the next level in terms of that, but just a dynamic athlete and a guy that I think would make an immediate difference on the inside of the field. Now, that said, I know, Evan, you've got a handful of guys that maybe later down the draft might be other options to consider.
I love Addison, though. To me, he's the closest thing in this draft to Devontae Smith. He's somebody that I've always wanted for the Patriots. Obviously, the Patriots didn't have the opportunity to draft Devontae Smith, but if they had, he's somebody, too, that I like the fact that he went from Pitt to USC and still produced in both offenses. I think he's somebody that's really amicable, can kind of go back and forth between different roles and things like that. Another player that can really carry the football too. If you want jet sweeps, end arounds, that type of thing, Jordan Addison is your guy. Skoronski, though, this is the key right there. We'll find out next week. How long are those arms? That'll be big for him.
Now, if Skoronski's not there, just real quick, Paris Johnson, Broderick Jones, the other two guys, not as experienced at left tackle, both only played a year, but
right.
If one of those guys were to fall, I think that's what we're all kind of looking at in the first round. Will one of these tackles get to 14?
It's a good question. I think this combine is going to be a huge thing to answering that. Paris Johnson hasn't notoriously tested out of the water, right? He's not been one of these guys that jumps out the gym or has this great 40 time, but maybe he's gotten better at that since being at Ohio State. Broderick Jones, though, he needs to test well because that's his calling card. He is an athletic freak with high upside. If he tests more towards the average, then that tells you that maybe that wasn't exactly translatable from the film at the combine. But I think all four of these guys, really, if you want to throw Addison in there, they come away with one of those four at 14. They're in pretty good shape.
All right, well, it's still 2 months to go. We got the combine coming up. We're going to be out there, plenty of content. I'm sure there's going to be another mock draft or two coming at you guys this spring. We'll be back with more YouTube videos as well, hitting all this draft content. Great stuff. Patriots have a great opportunity to really get better. We'll catch you next time.